Hello everybody, you're listening to Mark Ling, and on tonight's exclusive live webinar we're going to be looking at how to get free relevant traffic to any web property, and it's extremely powerful training that you're going to get on this particular webinar. Now some of you will be aware, if you were on the webinar a couple of nights ago, that there's a community that I'm a part of, an underground community run by some internet marketers, which I'll introduce you to later in this webinar, have been making money hand over fist by dominating Google rankings. Now, on the webinar the other night, we went with a focus of proof first, and then we went into a lot of training, and then the webinar ended up going for about 4 hours. There was so much packed into it. It was a really detailed presentation. And there was a lot of proof elements. I mean, we got to see screenshots of earnings reports from, must have been over 50 of their students on that particular webinar, because I wanted people to know the power of what they were teaching, and how powerful it is, and how loads of people are having great success with this. Now, tonight's webinar, we're going to get underway with the training right from the word go. I mean, if you missed out on seeing earnings reports and all of that sort of stuff, we may have time to have a look at some more of that at the end of the webinar, if you want to see lots more proof of concept and stuff like that. But that's what the training was for the other day. What you're going to have to do if you weren't on the webinar the other day is just take my word for it that what I'm teaching you works, and works powerfully well. Okay, and then we will have time to prove it to you later. But that was what a lot of the last webinar was about. There was a lot of proof of concept going on there. And today I want to just make it as simple and as straightforward as possible to see you guys doing extremely well out of this stuff. Okay. Now the focus is on, as you remember from the other day, is getting free traffic from Google. Okay. And what I'm going to share with you today, I really don't want you to share with anyone else. It doesn't matter if, if several hundred people get access to it, but it's so powerful that I really want to just keep it between us, because you're my subscribers and my customers and so forth, and obviously I want the best for you guys. And and basically I just want you guys to promise just to keep it between you and us, so that, obviously we don't really want it getting out to millions of people. A few thousand people, it won't hurt. This is that big, what you're going to hear. There is that much traffic available that it won't even make a blip of a difference if a few thousand people knew. But obviously we don't necessarily want a million people knowing either. So anyway, I just want you guys to say, I promise, into the Q&A box, you're going to keep it between us. Awesome. Okay, lots of people saying that they are going to. All right, now, first question I got for you guys. What do you think is better? Free traffic, like traffic from Google, or paid traffic, like traffic from Facebook, or there's loads of other sources of paid traffic, media buys, solo ads, etc. What's better? Okay, it's a trick question, really, because most of you guys are saying free traffic, but it's obviously free is better if free was really free, but free isn't entirely free if you have to put a little bit of work in, because your time is still worth money. Okay, what the real answer to that is any form of traffic that results in profits. I mean, if you're spending $100 a day and you're making $1,000 a day, then of course that's great traffic, right? The big key, though, with any traffic source is that it's scalable, there's lots of it, and it is easy to monetize. It's really important. That's the great thing about Google traffic. There are billions of people searching Google every month, and not billions of search results coming through, and not just that, but they're over a very wide range of search results. And I know that it's well monetizable, because in the past I've made a lot of money out of out of high search engine rankings. We'll get to that shortly. Okay. But the big key with any form of traffic, that's scalable. I mean, I remember I got into last year, I had to go with this place called 7Search. And at the end of it, after doing quite a bit of work back and forth, I managed to get to a point where I was spending $5 a day and I was making $10 a day back. So that's not really great, is it? Because it's not scalable. I couldn't get myself, if I tried to spend $30 a day, I was losing money. I couldn't scale it. So it's pointless. You want traffic that can make you a millionaire, not traffic that can help you to just get a little bit extra on the side. Okay? So anyway, consider this. If you can put the same amount of effort and get the same result, would you rather pay for your traffic or get it for free? Okay, same amount of effort. Right, lots of you guys are typing in free, of course. And that's what we're going to look at here. That's what we're going to look at here. Okay. A lot of the model that you'll learn about here is the problem with paid traffic is that you have to keep paying over and over and over again. But when you set things up in the way that this underground community that I'm a part of, you know, with Greg and Mike and so forth that were on the last webinar, if you set things up the way they teach you, then a lot of the infrastructure costs are one-time costs. And it's not even that expensive, okay? Whereas when you're buying traffic, you're buying it and then it's gone. You've used it and you've made money from it or whatever, or maybe you've captured some opt-ins and you're able to get repeat traffic out of that, but you have to pay for it again when you want that source of traffic again. Whereas with this, a lot of it's in your infrastructure and how you set things up, and then you're able to get multiple rankings over and over and get traffic becomes very easy. Okay, so a lot of it's sort of, I prefer one-off payments for things as opposed to things where I have to keep paying over and over again. And that's the beauty of free traffic. Okay, most people don't know how to get it for free. That's the big problem. So they do pay money to get it. I just took the screenshot just before the webinar, by the way. I searched for San Diego SEO service. Okay, San Diego SEO service. You know, I just typed in San Diego SEO just to see. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And lo and behold, there's probably other listings as well. The first one that caught my eye was San Diego WebWorks. They're a San Diego SEO company. They can't even rank in the top 10 in Google for SEO, for San Diego SEO. So they had to pay money and buy that position there on the right under the advertised positions. Okay, so when people don't know what to do, they don't know how to get it for free, they pay money to get it. And that's where I've been at for a while. I have got some good search engine rankings, but I've let things slip over the last couple of years with my natural search engine rankings and have been buying more traffic. Yes, it can be lucrative buying traffic, but heck, if you can make money hand over fist with free traffic and get more of it, then why wouldn't you? Okay, and you're going to see more on this presentation. Okay, it's like I've ignored Google for far too long. Okay, it's been in front of me this whole time as well. Most of my first $1 million online came from free search engine traffic. It came from sorry, I just got a little cough. It came from ranking for all sorts of phrases from in search engines, not just Google, but Yahoo and so forth. Now Google dominates and gets around about 67% of all web traffic. Back then it got a lower percentage, but I was getting rankings in Google and Yahoo and all over the place for phrases like stop dog digging, stop golden retriever barking, learn guitar, learn Spanish, learn French, all sorts of phrases. Okay, lots more than that, like body wraps for weight loss. There was just dozens and dozens of them. How to get a girlfriend, how to get a boyfriend, and so forth. So I know firsthand when people type this stuff in to the search engines and they're looking for something, a good percentage of them will buy stuff. and you can make money with it. All right? And then I also know that there's other ways of monetizing it too. In fact, a lot of people make millions of dollars a year. I've got a few friends of mine that do over 7 figures a year just from a handful of clients. So you could have a client in your local area who wants to rank for something like, let's say, Chicago lawyer or something like that. And you know what, if they're ranking highly, they're getting, it's very, very lucrative to them, and it can become very lucrative to you on a monthly basis. And we'll look at that later. Okay? But the problem for me was paid traffic when it first came on the scene, those paid Google listings and so forth, and there are other paid listings available. It was just too easy, and it was very cheap at that point in time. So for something that might cost me now, might cost me 50 cents a click, back then it might have been 3 cents a click. So I was just moving towards paid traffic all the time because it was just so easy and so cheap. But now it's not like that. Yes, paid traffic can be very effective, but it's looking like right now, especially when I see this community that I'm now a part of, that heck, I've been leaving a lot of money on the table for way too long when it comes to the free traffic that's available. Okay, so I've underestimated how big Google is right now. It's grown by epic proportions over the last decade. I mean, I was doing really well a decade ago in the search engines, and heck, I didn't even realize that now Google's like 10 times bigger. So any phrases that people were searching for back then, they're searching for even more now. Google generates an advertising revenue, and I found this off another website, $1,837 per second. Okay, so that's $110,000 a minute, $6 million an hour, $158 million a day, 4.8, is that trillion dollars a month, or is it billion? $1,000 billion a month, $4.8 billion a month. They do this through their paid advertising because people will pay to advertise in the Google rankings. People pay to advertise in the Google rankings, in the Google advertiser listings, because they're making money out of it. All right? They're making good money out of it. And imagine if some of those people instead became your clients, and you just took a really, really small sliver of that. And that's why a lot of the people in this community that I'm a part of, they have managed to make millions of dollars online from just a handful of clients. All right? If you're part of that community, they'll teach you how to get the clients and how to get the kind of clients that pay a lot of money. Another area, because there was a period where search engine optimization did start to get a lot harder and Google became incredibly unpredictable and volatile, I just assumed it was going to stay that way and that paid traffic was the main way forwards. Now, paid traffic is great, don't get me wrong, but it's not the main way, it's one way, all right? Falling for Google's misinformation and smoke and mirrors tactics. You know, Matt Cutts will regularly put out media posts and so forth about telling you, right, we don't want you building links. Google doesn't want you doing this. Google doesn't want you doing that. What Google says they want and what actually affects your rankings are two different things. All right, so there's misinformation going on out there. Some truths they put out there, and some of it is just them doing what they can, putting out smoke and mirrors to try and stop anyone gaming them. All right? You've got to ignore that, and you've got to just listen to guys like Greg and Mike that I'll bring on later on. You've got to listen to them, and from what I'm teaching you here, because it's what works, and that's more important than what Google says works. Okay, of course they're not going to just tell you exactly how to rank top of their rankings all the time. What they want is just high quality websites out there, and they'll always just tell you everything to do with quality sites. And yes, you want to be creating quality sites, quality content, and so forth. I'm not saying you don't, but that's not enough to get a high search engine ranking. There's other little factors, and you'll find that out shortly. Okay, I thought SEO was starting to get a bit too technical. It's not that I can't be technically minded if I want to be, but I thought that I prefer to just opt for models that are simpler. It's just my preference. Like if you go to Search Metrics and look at their 2014 ranking factors, you'll find like hundreds of little things, from click-through rate, relevant terms, number of backlinks, SEO visibility of the backlinking URL, proof terms, number of internal links, backlinks with anchor and domain authority, keywords in the body, text character length. I mean, there's so many little factors. Facebook comments, Facebook shares, Google plus ones. You know what? A lot of this actually only makes up for a very, very small percentage of the results out there, because most sites don't do half of this stuff and they still manage to get ranking. Okay, there's always a benefit for these companies out there for making things a little bit more complicated, because then people keep coming back to them again and again and again if they know every little nook and cranny. But you know what? I would rather know the 80% that's going to get me everything, that's going to get me the majority of results, than get too bogged down in the other 20% that it usually just happens naturally anyway, a lot of the other stuff. Okay? No one can keep up with all of this stuff. Otherwise, everybody would have to have a PhD to get a Google ranking, and that's not what happened. Now, I've discovered that SEO is way less complicated now than it was 5 years ago, which is incredible. And there's less competition now because a lot of people think that SEO's got too complicated. Now, like I mentioned in the last webinar, there's an underground community of people, real people, not gurus, like loads and loads of people. I mean, we looked at over 50 earnings reports on the last webinar. These people are making money hand over fist from getting high rankings in Google. They know how to adapt super fast whenever Google makes any algorithmic updates and so forth, because they're all on the ball. It's not just one person. There's several of them all in a community. These guys are unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. And Google doesn't actually care, because Google, they don't want thousands of people out there gaming them, but they don't care if there's a small underground little community of people that are actually putting out quality content anyway, that are getting lots of high search engine rankings. It's no problems. Now, you'll discover there are 3 main factors that affect your Google rankings. All right? Let's not worry about all the rest of the other stuff, at least not in this presentation. URLs, anchor text, and links. If you can do what I teach you on this particular webinar to do with URLs, anchor text, and links, you'll get a lot of high search engine rankings results. For a lot of you guys that used to have high search engine rankings, it may be a matter of just updating a couple of things, and then bam, they'll come straight back. All right? When you look at it and you forget all the smoke and mirrors and all the other 1,000,001 other little things that affect things by 0.3% and so forth, this is the 80%. That's all you do these things right, and you'll get a lot of high search engine rankings. And a lot of traffic, and a lot of relevant traffic, and be making a lot of money. And we'll look at monetization later. But, you know, another one of my errors was thinking Google was too volatile with their zillions of updates all the time. And actually, these updates have made search engine optimization much less competitive. There's less people doing it. Okay? As people leave to what they think is a supposedly easier method of driving traffic. And reality is, if there's money being made, then there's going to be some sort of volatility. Things are going to change. Heck, if you're buying Facebook traffic, even buying Google AdWords, that changes, you know, on a reasonable, regular basis, at least a little bit. But most of these updates, they're just simply measures to remove Google from having crappy sites. All right? So usually it only takes a matter of days to adapt if you're part of this underground community that I'm now part of, because they'll just tell you exactly what to do. I'll go ask Greg what the heck happened there, and he'll tell me. All right? Happens very fast. You usually take a matter of days to adapt. All right, assuming you don't actually have a crappy site that people shouldn't be viewing anyway, that's littering the Google results with something that's not actually relevant. Assuming that it's not crappy, then a matter of days. It's incredible. My error is underestimating the competition, overestimating the competition, I should say, for longer tail phrases. Now, a phrase like dog training or weight loss, or, some of those phrases are competitive. They're not impossible to rank for, especially if you follow what Greg and Mike teach you, but they are competitive. But just about every other phrase below that, like stop dog problems or stop golden retriever digging, and there are literally, in just about every niche you can think of, there are thousands and thousands of different variations of phrases that people are typing in and searching Google for. There's trillions of low to medium competition phrases that are ripe for the taking if you know what you're doing. So to succeed with Google, there's three main factors that affect your Google rankings. All right? URLs, anchor text, and links. Now, URL, that's what a URL looks like. It's what you type into your address. It's what's in your address bar when you visit a particular page on the internet. Okay? So that's what it might look like, for instance. And anchor text is when another page links to your page, and then that link is like a vote for your page. But the anchor text, the link is like a vote for your page. Anchor text just gives that vote some relevancy. So for instance, if there's a link here that goes to a page that is to do with a Chicago dentist, then as you can see here in this little screenshot, Chicago dentist is underlined and it's blue, and if someone clicks it from that website, they'll go to the Chicago dentist page. Okay, it just gives it some relevancy. Okay, and it helps the search engines figure out what that page is about. Okay, and when it comes to making money with Google rankings, there are three main monetization models. There's affiliate products, huge, okay, and that is something I've made a lot of money from, millions of dollars from over the years. Affiliate products, so you don't even have to have your own product. You put up pages and you get ranking on the right sort of search terms in that industry, whether it be a product name type search terms or whether it be problem related search terms like stop dog digging, stop golden retriever barking, and you're promoting a dog training product, just for instance. There's a lot of money to be made, millions of dollars as an affiliate, and as you saw from the earnings reports on the last webinar, lots of people that are part of that underground community that I'm a part of, that's how they do it. A lot of my fellow Jetpack members make a lot of money through affiliate products, for instance. You can even just send people straight to your own opt-in page and then promote affiliate products throughout your newsletter sequence. A lot of money to be made there. Another variation is having your own products. Another thing that I do a lot of, I do them in info product spaces and have made millions of dollars in niches ranging from language learning to wedding speeches to all sorts of things. Okay, dating, relationships, personal development, your own info product, or even your own physical product. A lot of people make good money from selling physical products on Amazon, and or they might even have a Kindle books on Amazon or whatever, and then they just get that particular product. Imagine if you could just knew that you could put up a product like, let's say it was a kitchen spatula, and you could put it up on Amazon, and if someone typed in kitchen spatula into Google, they would see your Amazon link, your Amazon listing for kitchen spatulas. I mean, you would make thousands of sales every month of kitchen spatulas because of that. Okay, so it's another monetization option. And then the other model, and a model that is very popular, is to sell SEO services. People often only have a handful of clients, and they're already making over 6 figures a year, from anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8 clients. It's incredible. So selling SEO services to people, like imagine if you're selling search engine optimization services to a lawyer or a doctor or whoever, it can become incredibly lucrative. So there's two types of sites that you'll want to build. Okay, your money site, the site that makes you the money, and sites that link to your money site, just like the blog network type stuff that we talked about in the last webinar, and we'll get onto that later. Okay. Now, looking at URLs now, the first of those three things that I wanted to get you guys mastering today, so that you can get a lot of results right away. URLs. So in the past, you would do very well in Google by just exact match targeting your domain, like chicagoseocompany.com, and you would probably rank #1 in Google right away for Chicago SEO Company. I mean, I used to have domains that were about 30 characters long sometimes, just stuffing it with keywords, and it worked great. Okay. Like I said, Google's an algorithm, doesn't have a personality. They've changed things, but they haven't changed things that much to the point where, things are that drastically different. Okay. Back then, another option was you could take it further and have lots of pages on one root website. Like you could have search engine optimization for you.com. This is just a made up domain, by the way. So it could be search engine optimization for you.com / Chicago SEO Company / Denver SEO Company / Miami SEO Company. And that's how you would do your URLs to try and rank on all of those different phrases. But Google, they've had an update. They were concerned at how easy it was getting too easy for spammers to game their rankings. So they put out some misinformation, of course. They don't just tell you exactly what they're doing, but they changed their algorithm. They put out some misinformation, made a lot of updates at the same time so that you don't know what update was more important than the other. Okay, but the main thing that changed as far as URLs are concerned was they factored in over-optimization. So here's what you do now. This is what you do now instead, and works wonderfully well. Obviously, you have to do the other factors as well to do with anchor text and links that I'll cover shortly. But now, instead of doing it this way, search engine optimization / Chicago SEO Company / Denver SEO Company / Miami SEO Company, you would just link to, you would just change it to saying search engine optimization for you.com / SEO - company / Chicago, okay, or / Denver or / Miami. So when it comes to the actual page name, you don't want to have repeated use of the same phrase, and in this case it's SEO Company. It's okay to use it as a category, but you don't want to use it in terms of the page name. All right, that's just how Google's changed it. All right, and you know what? By making that little change, they managed to get rid of a whole lot of crappy websites that were doing it the other way. A lot of people thought, oh, SEO's got too hard. They left, and it did improve their results, so that's why they did it. Okay, but that's all you need to know. You just change it that way. Heck, you don't even have to use SEO Company exactly anyway in the domain in your category title. You could have just used the words companies / Chicago, something along those lines. Okay, so over optimizing, using a phrase more than once isn't ideal. In terms of the number of different pages, and also if it's already coming up in your category title or in your domain title, then you don't need to use it again in your page name as well. Does that make sense, guys? Just type into the question and answer box, the comments, just type in, yes, this makes sense. And it's straightforward and easy. And it's actually really easy to make the change as well. Greg, are you on the webinar right now? I'll just double check. So there's something I want to ask you. Okay, looks like Greg's not here right now. Hopefully he'll come on later. So anyway.
I am. Sorry, I was muted there, Morse.
Oh, you're here. Cool. Now,
Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry about that.
Greg, just a quick question. If somebody's, on the last webinar, you mentioned that if somebody had a a bunch of pages, let's say they were like the ones at the top there in this example I'm giving, and they wanted to move them, you said they don't even have to change their links that are pointing to their website. All they have to do is get a, let's say it's WordPress, then they would just use a plugin or something. They just that would automatically do the 301 redirects. Do you want to just quickly elaborate on that?
Yeah, so there's a plugin I use whenever these changes go on and there needs to be a URL change. I download a plugin. It's called Simple 301 Redirects. It makes, I know 301 redirects sounds scary. I was scared of them for a long time. I never used them until I found out about the plugin, how easy it was. And basically all you got to do is search for the plugin, install it, activate it, and then you go to the plugin and you put in the old URL that you want redirected, then you put in the new URL that you want that old URL redirected to, and you hit save. And it will redirect all the links that from the old URL to the new URL. Because it's basically saying, this page has now moved to this page, and Google follows that, and it makes the links follow it to the new page.
Perfect, perfect. And now, just for, I had one person saying, hey, I'm still using the old style of links, and it's working for me. Well, I should also mention that Google doesn't do the same thing over and over for every listing. They like a variety of listings, and for some reason or another, you might have gotten a little bit lucky. But that's not to say that every single listing, like there's a couple of things. One is you may have been doing it for a lower competition type phrases. Secondly, it may just be that, they might allow in one or two results in their top 10 that don't quite fit the bill, but the 80-20 rule, 80% of them are, if there's a lot of optimized sites out there for the keywords you're going for, 80% of them will be done right. The other thing is you may have done a lot of other things right, so it's not all about your URL anyway. Perhaps you'll be getting higher rankings with doing things this way. Okay, so I thought I'd just mention that. Okay, so now, whoops, that's the wrong page. Now, we've looked at URLs. It was actually pretty straightforward, wasn't it? Like, like maybe if you look back at your notes afterwards, you'll probably realize it's actually very straightforward what's happened. Can it really be that simple? Actually, in reality, most of the stuff it's an algorithm. Okay, it's not a person. Once you know the algorithm, you can get all sorts of things happening for you. So anyway, URLs. Now, anchor text. Number 2. In the past, lots of links from lots of sites that directed to your money site. You could just drive thousands of links, and it might be you'd probably use some link generating software that would just post your link to thousands of little blogs or whatever. You might use, there could be some people owned sites that were blog networks that were not even high PR blog networks. I just mean just spammy blogs, like thousands of blogs, and you'd just be able to get links posted to all sorts of places. And we'll get back into talking about the types of links later in a moment. But first I want to talk about the actual anchor text, okay? So we'll forget about where the links are coming from just for a moment, because we'll look at that shortly. Let's look at anchor text. That is the text that's used, that's clicked on when you go through to someone's page. Now, in the past, 50% or roundabout, maybe even more, of those links would be the phrase you're targeting. So if you were trying to rank for Chicago Dentist, then this is what your links might look like on other websites that were linking to your page, or even internally inside your website. But in general, from other websites, it might be Chicago Dentist, another one, Chicago Dentist, then Dentist in Chicago, then maybe a click here, and then Chicago Dentist, place to find a Chicago Dentist, and so forth. So Chicago Dentist was used in around about 50% of those, and even more if you include the fact that Chicago Dentist was used in the phrase place to find a Chicago Dentist, and that's what it was like. But then Google were concerned about how it was just way too easy for spammers to game their rankings. I mean, you could Pay $5 and get like thousands of spammy links sent to your page, and you were ranking top 10, top 5, top 3, and even number 1. So they put out some misinformation, got Matt Cutts talking about stuff to do with telling you to stop building links to your website, stuff like that. They made several updates all at once though, did a few other little tweaks here and there. But the actual main thing that changed as far as anchor text was concerned was just that they factored in over-optimization. All right? So now, what a good profile of anchor text will look like might be something like this. Dentist in Chicago. Just the straight URL linking to your page. http:/whatever-your-site-is.com/dentist/Chicago. Dentistry services in Chicago. Click here. Place to find a dentist in Chicago. And then we have the phrase we're going for, Chicago dentist. And then it'll be best dentist in Chicago, recommended Chicago dentist, and so forth. Okay, so you're not using it that often. In fact, in this bunch of phrases, you only used it once. And you know what? If you're doing what Greg taught in the last webinar, a lot of the time you only need, if you own a high PR blog network of your own, and he teaches you how to do that inside his members area, you know, part of the community that I'm part of, if you do things the way he teaches, quite often you will get your top 5 Google ranking from just a handful of links. And he was saying that he would quite often, if he was going after a phrase like this, he would perhaps just do a little 6-week link campaign where he built 1 link per week. Dentist in Chicago might be the first one. So he wouldn't go after the phrase exactly that he was going for right away, because he doesn't want to over-optimize for that phrase. So he would go dentist in Chicago. Then the next week he might add another link like that URL link. Then the next week he would do dentistry services in Chicago. Then the next week he might add a link that just said click here. And then the next week it might be place to find a dentist in Chicago. And then he would use his high PR blog network to post a link that said the phrase that he was actually going for, which was Chicago dentist. And that algorithm can't tell what the heck he's optimizing for or whatever, but it definitely helped a lot doing it that way. That's the way you do it. Okay? So, variety of phrases, yes. All right? That's really, really important. Okay? You still want your money phrase in there. And if you've got a high PR blog network, you save it until maybe 6 weeks in, and then you do it there, and then you put it there. A lot of people don't have that patience. Most people don't. All this stuff may sound really simple and straightforward. Most people never have the patience for it. Most people want instant results, and if you want instant results, you have to pay for it. Okay? If you want free, then just a little bit of patience and do the right things right. And you know what? Once things are going well for you, you will find that you'll be able to get rankings in a matter of 24 hours sometimes. Like if you've got a website that's, you know, you might have taken a bit of time to get rankings. They may take 6 weeks or whatever at the start to get rankings for things the way Greg teaches you. But later on, when that's built up some domain authority, which we'll look at shortly, sooner or later, you'll just post a page to your website and bang, Google's picked it up within 6 hours, 24 hours, whatever, and it's ranking right away. It's crazy. It's unbelievable almost. Right? So, to succeed with Google, there's 3 main factors: URLs, anchor text, and then links. That's the next one. Let's look at links. In the past, you could throw thousands of links anywhere and everywhere at your money site or page that you wanted to get ranking. All right? And do you think those days are gone? Type that into the Q&A box. Yes or no? Gone or not gone? All right, we've got yes, most people think they're gone. There's maybe 10% think that they're not gone. And one person, Ron, gave a very good answer. Depends on the domain authority. That's right. Okay? So we'll show you in a moment that actually those days aren't gone entirely. Not saying that you necessarily want to throw spammy links. A lot of the time that will be a bad thing, but there are occasions when it can be helpful. Like I said, you don't do what Google tells you, you do what works. Okay, that's the key. You do what guys like Greg tell you. Now, Google were concerned at how it was getting too easy for spammers to game their rankings, so they put out some misinformation about what they're doing and so forth, told you to stop doing link building, made several updates at once. They even caught a bunch of high PR blog networks, not blog networks that were private, blog networks that Greg teaches you. I'm talking about ones where they had like 1,000 people using the same blog network. You know, like there's a real footprint going on. So anyway, the actual main thing that changed as far as links were concerned, though, was they factored in domain authority. So domain authority, it relates to your website and the sites you build links from. So the higher your domain authority, the more crappy links that you can use to boost your rankings. So, for instance, imagine if you had a product listed on Amazon.com, all right, like a Kindle book maybe, a little 30-page Kindle book, or maybe it was you're selling kitchen knives, or maybe it's something else. The domain authority of Amazon is crazily high, and you can see the domain authority if you happen to use SEO Moz. I think it's just Moz. I think it's just called Moz now. If you use their plugin, it'll show the domain authority. Okay, I won't get into that now, but they've got a little plugin that you can use. And if, let's say you had a listing on Amazon, then domain authority is so high that you could actually just throw a bunch of crappy links, maybe even one link from your high PR blog network, and bam, it's #1 in Google, or at least top 10 for whatever phrase you want, assuming that you've done a little bit of on-page optimization as well, like use the keywords within the page itself a little bit, and you're good to go. It's amazing. A lot of people do it with YouTube videos. They'll put out a little 2-minute YouTube video and build a bunch of links, and bam, they can get it ranking on lower competition phrases. If it's a higher competition phrase, they may need to do a little bit of work to get their views up, but essentially these crappy links, they still work when the domain authority is really high. The lower your domain authority, the more important it is that you do something along the lines of building a private blog network of medium to high PR sites, or do it the hard way and actually get links from high quality sites through a link building campaign, which still works, but it can be harder. You know, like guest blogging, trying to get an article written about you on CNN.com or something, or you know, there's other ways, but heck, having a high PR blog network that's, to me, is the easier way, especially when you can build a PR blog network that has 10 sites in it, say, for as little as a few $100s, and maybe 20 sites in it for even under 500. It's amazing. All right. All right, so like I said, if you want to rank by throwing thousands of crappy links at a site, then you're going to have to borrow the domain authority. You're going to have your product not on your own .com, but put it on Amazon or a Kindle book or a video on YouTube, or put up a Squidoo lens or something and throw crappy links at it. Okay? Otherwise, build your own high PR blog network the way that Greg teaches you. Okay? Now, this is where I want to bring Greg on board, where I'm going to get him to show you again, as he did in the last, explain to you again a bit more about the link building side of things, stuff that I may not have explained in detail here on this webinar, because he is the absolute expert here. So, Greg, are you able to jump on now and talk a little bit about high PR blog networks and their ability to help you monetize that traffic, and then we can, after that, have a look at maybe some examples of some of the amazing earnings reports of some of the people that are part of your community. I think that's just utterly incredible. By utilizing pretty much the knowledge that's that you guys have.
Yeah, absolutely. So you wanted me to talk about more about like how we get these sites and why they're so special and all that stuff.
Yeah. Can I pass over the screen to you?
Sure.
You just take it over because you're an
All right.
organizer.
One second here. All right. See my screen okay?
Yep.
All right. So there's two sites that I use to find these high PR sites, and basically what it is, give a quick review. They're websites, most of the ones that I get at least, they're websites that were previously owned, and they have a lot of trust going to them because it was a good website for whatever reason. Maybe it was a popular restaurant. Maybe it was an old community center. Maybe it was an old radio station. Whatever the case is, there's tons of sites out there, tens of thousands of them that expire every single day. But the catch is these sites all still have the links going to them, and that's what powers these websites is the links. The more quality links a website has going to it, the more trust it has and the more trust that it can pass. And that's a big key there. If it has trust flowing to it, it can also pass trust. So what we do is we go in auctions and we get these domains that already have this trust, and we put up a new website on them, and then we put up an article about whatever topic we're trying to link to about, and then we just link to the website that we want to power. Okay, because remember, since it has links going to it, we're building that trust. So when I'm finding these domains, there's two places I use, and it's registercompass.org. This is my favorite one. Well, actually, this is the one I do use. And then this is a paid membership. It costs $37 a month. For me, it's well worth it. But if you're really on a budget and you just can't afford that, there's also expireddomains.net. It's free. It does the same thing, except there's just not as many filters to play with. And it's a little more confusing to go through the data without as many filters in place. But you can use this and find good sites with it. All right, so let's go to Register Compass, and I'll log in here. All right, so this is what you see when you log in, and I go to my domain search, or go to domain search. I'll actually zoom in so we can see a little better. There we go. All right, so the first thing I usually do is I want to make sure they're indexed. So I'll put, index greater than 0. Then I want a domain that is before probably like 2012. I want domains 2011 and older. I wanted to have some age to them, at least when I look for them. It doesn't have to. It's more about the links, but I found that, a lot of domains 2012 and older, there's a lot of crap in there. Just as newer domains that people are trying to spam and all that stuff. So I just cut it out to help research easier. But you can find good domains 2012 and above, just there's not many of them. So I'll do less than 2012 for domain age. Domain authority, Mark talked about this. This has to do with trust, okay? And typically you can do anything over 15. But I usually go like over 20, and we'll do over 24 for this. It'll be anything 25 and higher. Usually that's what I set my standards to, is either 25 or higher. But I know people who have used sites in the 15 to 24 range that are ranking really good terms. Stuff like big city SEO, so cities with millions of people. So it can be done. I just go after the higher power ones because I can afford it and I have a higher budget, obviously, so it's not as big of a deal. But just don't think that domains between 15 and 24 don't work, because they work very well as long as you have the proper anchor text and URL combinations. So the next thing you go to is auction registrar, and I'll usually look at each of these individually just to make it easier, so I know what I'm looking at. I usually start with Namejet, and then I'll go to Snap and then GoDaddy. Okay, we'll just do one for Namejet. It's the same thing. There's different registrars you're getting it through, or different auction services. All right, so then I'll do expiring in the next, 3 days. Maybe I'll do it every 3 days or so. And then we can go to Find Domains. and it's going to bring up a whole list of domains that are available with our filters in the next 3 days. All right, so we got 60 domains meeting our criteria in the next 60 days. That's actually low. Did I put something weird in here? That's a little low. It's usually higher than that, but that's plenty. 60 domains. Then we have 7,500 expired domains. Now, the difference between this is auction domains are domains that are fresh in the auction, just expired, and they're at auction for the first time. All right. Expired domains have already gone through auction and no one picked them up. And when they actually expire, they lose their age, but they still have the links. Okay. Now, I just did an over-the-shoulder series in our members area using these types of domains, all right? And we're ranking for stuff like, let's go here. Let's type in Franklin TN Car Insurance. Here we are at number 1 right for that term. And I used expired domains for that because I wanted to show people that they do work. Okay, so these are the sites that people don't pick up at auction that you can get very cheap for as low as $9. You know, it's once they expire, they actually go back into registrars. So, like you could go to GoDaddy.com, and you know if you find a site that you like in here, and I'll go through some sites that is still available, you can go register it at GoDaddy. You know, this tool just tells you which of those sites are available. It shows you like all the links and all that stuff. So that's the difference between these two. I don't pay attention to expiring, and I usually myself get the auction. But I did do that over-the-shoulder series showing that these do work, as you can see through this term right here, which I only used 2 of those sites. I think there is a total of like $34, 2 domains I used to rank this. All right, plus a couple other terms. All right, so let's go back here and let's actually go to the auction domains. So I'll make me log in again. I don't know why it logged me out there. So let's go to the auction domains.
If any of you are having trouble seeing all of Greg's screen, just change the zoom setting. Like it might be in the top left. For me it is. It depends if you're on a Mac or PC, but just letting you know, you just change the zoom settings. You can see as much as you want.
Someone said I had it set to buy it now. I didn't put anything fast, so it should be fine. All right, so now what I like to do usually is, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole screen, is I like to organize by domain authority. You can organize by whatever you want, age, but for me, I just like doing domain authority first. And that's going to organize it from highest domain authority to lowest, you know, anything up to 100 all the way down to 25, because I set my lowest to 25. And these are actually, Namejet actually does pre-release domains, and what that means is it's minimum $69, as you can see right here. So if I found a domain that I liked, I put in a $69 pre-auction bid. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm spending $69, it just means I'm entering myself into the bid, and I'll actually show you here. Go to domain auction. So if this is a domain that I liked, I would go into Namejet. You would just create an account there. Namejet's been loading pretty slow lately. I don't know why. Might just be with this browser. Let me check this. Nope. Well, anyways, this is taking a little bit to load, but once it comes up, there's a spot where you put in a $69 bid, and again, you're not actually spending that money. You're just saying, I want to be in this auction, okay? So if 10 people did that, those 10 people would go to a final auction. Once you end up being the highest bidder, that's the price you own for the domain. If you lose the auction, you don't pay the $69. So that's what a pre-release is. Now this isn't loading, but I just explained what it is. All right, so the highest they have in the next 3 days is a 49 domain authority, and then of course it goes all the way down to 25 because that's what I set my thing at. So let's look at this one first. And again, one big tip I want to tell you is PageRank. You can't go off just PageRank. You can use it to kind of get extra data about the site, but you know there are sites that are anywhere from the PR0s, PR1s, PR2s, PR3s that are way better than a lot of PR4s out there. So I know a lot of people teach to go after PageRank, but you can't do that. It's all about the links. You can use PageRank to help collect data. It can be part of it, but you have to look at the whole picture. For example, I always look at the domain name. Okay, I'm looking for sites that have something that could be like a company name or a community or something that someone wouldn't want to profit from, like build a website to make a profit. For example, if the website was makemoneyonline123.com, I wouldn't even look at it because that's something that someone would do SEO with. It's not something that's like a society government type site where it's going to get a lot of natural good links. So I always look at the domain name, the topic. I also look at the page rank. We'll consider that. The domain age, and then of course the domain authority. I look at all of these things. I consider it all. One of the most important things actually though is the name of the domain because that helps you get a starting point, what this site is about and could it have a lot of natural links, and it'll save you a lot of research time if you do that. So once I see a site I might like, I'll go to SEO Moz Explorer, Site Explorer, and you can get this tool free for like 4 months. There's coupons out there. Always check the non-www version and the www version. What I found is that a lot of sites that are before 2007 will have most of the links to the www version. A lot of sites after 2007 will have links to the non-www version. It doesn't go for all of them, but that's a general rule that you can follow. All right, so this only has 2 links, and it's all foreign, so I wouldn't go after this domain. Okay, so that's no good. So let's keep scrolling down here. A lot of crap in here. Let's go look at this one right here. Now this is a redirect. Anytime this happens, be careful because it's redirecting to another website. So you want to go here and click here to make sure you're seeing the links to the site that we're actually analyzing. All right. So that brought up. This has 4 links to it. One of them is from a government site, but I want more than 4 links in most cases. Let's go check the www version. And it probably is that because it was a site from 2001. And we have to do click here again to go check the site we're actually looking. And that's because of the 301 redirect that's happening. All right, so now we got 82 domains, 41 domain authority, 51 page authority. We're looking really good. Okay, and on top of that, it's showing a PR6, which helps give it more trust. Again, you can't go off just that, though. The links have to back it up. It has good age. It's in a good category, health conditions and diseases, and it's good domain name. All right, so everything's flowing together right now. Then I'll go to group by domain, filter, and we got to do click here again. And a lot of domains don't do this. This is just a minority. Happens maybe 5–10% of the time. And what this does, group by domain, is it makes sure that it's not showing a whole bunch of sites from the same domain. For example, if this website had a whole bunch of links from dlib.org, it would keep showing links from that domain. We just want the top link from that domain. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll start looking at these links, and right away I see a link from Wikipedia. That's awesome. It's a no-file link, so I don't really count it, so to speak, but I like that this has a link from Wikipedia because that shows me it's a natural type website. If Wikipedia is linking to you, there's a very good chance it's a good website, okay? The other thing, I go way deeper into this in our training, but you can kind of tell by these links, because I do analyzation of spammy type links and natural links like this. You can tell by the anchor text, the titles, and the URL structure, and the source of the websites that these are really good quality links. And you can back it up by actually going to these links. So I'll kind of bring up some of these top links. They're in the Yahoo directory, Stanford.edu, great link. And I can also tell by the page authority and domain authority combinations that these are very good links. Here's a government link. Okay, so we'll just bring up a few of these. Here's another EDU site. So this is great. I can already tell it's going to be a good site. All right, so this first link right here is a PageRank 5, okay, with a pretty good Alexa ranking, two things you want to look at. And I know I said not to look at PageRank, make that like the deciding factor for when you're analyzing sites, but when you're analyzing links, you can do that because in order to go deeper, you would have to analyze for this whole link into Open Site Explorer again and then analyze those links. So in order to save time, it would just be totally ridiculous to analyze every single links. It would take forever. You would never get done research. So for this alone, you can go off PageRank and Alexa. All right. The other thing I'll quickly look at is, is there a ton of links on this site? And there's not. There's not that many actually. A good amount of content, a lot of resources, natural link, PR5, very good. My general rule is, if it's the PR5 that seems strong, there's good content on it, not too many links, that automatically makes this site at least a PR3, the site we're looking at, okay? So at this point, it's at least a PR3, and I mean a real PR3 backed up by the links when I say that. All right, so there's a PR5, there's one. Next link right here, we got a PR6. That's great from a high Alexa. That's awesome, very high Alexa. That's a very, very good link. A decent amount of links on here, so it's kind of like a directory. So that makes it a little less good, but it's a good link because it's from such high Alexa. It has so much trust that kind of gets rid of some of those rules that you would file with a lower Alexa ranking. So this PR6 right here automatically makes it at least a PR4. Plus we have that PR5 from before, so that makes it right now a medium to strong PR4. All right, this one's not loading. For some reason it timed out. Might just need to redo it because Yahoo directly would load. Might just be something going on with that temporarily, but we'll close that one. So next one here, PR5. Again, high Alexa. This is a really good looking site. Okay, not many links on the page, just a few of them, so that's great. Oh, and the other thing you can do is, especially for these high PR links to the site you're analyzing, is right-click. Let me see what this website's name is, ppdg.net. So you can right-click, view page source, and then go to Edit Find, ppdg.net. And we're just making sure that this link is still there because it's such an important link. Anything PR5 or above, I'll usually check manually like this to make sure it's still there. And we can see right here, as long as it has ahref equals site name, the link is still there. Okay, so I would check this one. I would check this one because it's PR6. This one's a PR5, so I would check this one. And this is from stanford.edu. Awesome link. Okay, so we have some great links here. And I would say this link, since we now have a 5, a 6, and another 5 from an EDU, again a high Alexa ranking, this makes it a PR5, a legit PR5. Here's another PR5. It's from a lower Alexa, so it's not as good. And it looks like there's a lot of links on here, so this isn't actually as good as it looks. All right, so this keeps it at like a medium level PR5. Another PR5 from a .gov. Now that's big. Any links from .gov or .edu make it even stronger, in my opinion, and it has pretty good Alexa. So this makes it into a strong PR5. Okay, here's a PR3, but it's from a high Alexa. That keeps that a strong PR5. And that's the last one we're looking at, so we don't want to go too deep. And we just went, what, 6, 7 links down? We still have all these links down here, and we're already at a strong PR5. So I know this is a good site from the few links that I looked at, and because I can just tell with all the combinations I'm looking at, the anchor text combinations, where the links are coming from, the titles, and the domain and page authority. And we of course, go deeper into this in our training. Now, does that make sense how I analyze sites? Did everyone get something out of that? Yes? Sure. Awesome. Yeah, so minimum page authority is 15, usually that I recommend to look at. When I was looking at the auctions that were when I did the over-the-shoulder series for these, when I used these domains, I went as low as 15. I actually targeted between 15 and 24. That was like the money range for these. Because remember, the domains that don't get picked up in the auctions, they expire and they go into this section. All right, so you kind of have to lower your standards a little bit, but I wanted to make those videos, that over-the-shoulder videos, to show you that those do still work and you can still rank a site with when they're even lower. Okay, even sites that don't get picked up. And Mark, where'd you want me to go from here?
I think that that's been fantastic. I think from there, I just wanted to double check that I mean, obviously you've covered the high PR blog networks. Was there anything else that's fits into the 80% side of link building that we should have mentioned?
I mean, just if you didn't watch the stuff on AnchorText last webinar, you want to watch that for sure, because once you know what type of sites to find, these high PR domains, like the trustworthy sites, it all comes down to URL and AnchorText. Once you have this down and you get the URL and AnchorText stuff down, you're going to rank. I mean, it's just, it's plain and simple. If you have trustworthy links with the correct URL and AnchorText, you're going to rank. And I mean, I could do a review if you wanted more, but that's up to you, what you want to do with people's time.
No, I think that's great. I mean, the whole purpose of today's webinar was to try and keep it straightforward, keep it simple, so people can like actionably use this stuff. And I think that most people would agree that there's been a lot of quality information taught here, and it's not that we're not going to get on to something else in a moment. I'm just saying, you know, it's been fantastic what you've taught. You've made it look, you know, a heck of a lot easier than a lot of people would have thought that this stuff is.
We have a lot of examples of this, and you know, the cool thing about a blog network is when changes come along, you have total control. You know, you own these websites. You can go log into the websites and make changes. And as I talked about last webinar, pretty much every single update is about optimization. So if you have something you need to change with optimization, you know, AnchorText from your network, you simply log in and you make the change, or you know, you delete it and make a new post. I mean, you have total control when you have a PBN.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to get. I'm just asking Mike. Can you just check check your Skype? I've just messaged you a quick question, and then we're going to move forward in just a moment to the money getting side of things, because people. You know, it's great to know all this stuff, but you want to make, if you want to, ideally, I mean, you want to make truckloads of money with this stuff, right? Right? You want to monetize this stuff. So we're going to get on.
My mic's coming on. You know, a lot of people always ask,
yeah,
like, does it
I'm
have
actually
to be
here.
on?
I've sent you a couple messages, Mark. Somehow they're not going through. I'll just email it to you.
Those are not coming through Skype. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just email you at your.
Or just through the chat.
Oh, right. You got it.
Go to your webinar chat. Cool. So we're going to get on to monetization just a sec. I just wanted to. It didn't even show the whole domain there, Mike. It just showed the slash. The slash part. That wasn't the parto.
The only one I have.
Sorry, just a side conversation going on there. So anyway, okay, so I did get it right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take over the screen for a moment, but I'm going to have you guys still stay on the line because I've got some questions. All right, so how do I take over the screen? I go these, make presenter. Yes. Show my screen. And then I go ahead and... Okay, so we're going to look at the money getting side of things, all right? Because at the end of the day, like, you guys have got like thousands of students, and I'm going to have a look and see some of those earnings reports again, because I think it's really, really important that people like know it's okay. It's not gurus that are making all this money. You know, that's what I love about that. So this is a private underground community that these guys have put together, where they teach this stuff. They teach you, and it's made. Money is being made by people that had no idea about Google and search engine rankings and all of that sort of stuff before, and yet now they're making 6 figures and sometimes 7 figures per year through 3 main ways of making money, either from affiliating to different affiliate products, so you don't even have to own your own product, you know, or having your own product. Maybe you've got your own info product, Or maybe you've got a product out there on Amazon.com, like physical products and so forth. Huge money being made from all of these methods. Selling SEO services, doing consulting. I know that's very popular amongst your members. And a lot of your members make over 6 figures a year. In fact, sometimes even 6 figures per month from a handful of SEO clients. Now, can you tell me, guys, let's say, Greg, I'll ask you this question. Why would say a Chicago dentist, for instance, or a Chicago lawyer, why would somebody pay thousands of dollars per year for SEO services? Because most people, they don't want to have 100 clients. They want to have either 5, 10, 15 clients, and they want to be making at least, say, 6 figures a year.
I mean, usually because they don't have enough business, or they just want as many clients as they can get. I mean, if someone is searching for Chicago dentist, and you have a website for them appearing #1, that's going to get them clients, obviously. So, I mean, it's people that want to increase their customers, and yeah, it's a lot of people. A lot of people do want to do that.
A lot of these people, some people don't even realize they're already paying to advertise in Google AdWords. They are paying, maybe some of these people are paying, say, $2 a click. All right, so they might be spending, let's say they get 100 clicks a day. They might be spending $200 a day on their Google AdWords advertising, and it's worth it for, say, a lawyer who some of their clients might spend $100,000 through them. You never know what leads are going to turn into what. So they'll happily spend that. But heck, if you even got, a third of that $200 a day, and that was spent through you, imagine, it's incredible, and it's why a lot of companies do it. It was interesting that you showed me, though, Mike, yesterday, not yesterday, a couple of days ago on the webinar, there was it your wife that had the eyelash extensions website?
Yeah, it's her friend. Yeah, eyelash extensions website.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you take over the screen and just show that website for a moment? Because
sure.
Because it's not just doctors and lawyers and accountants.
No, not at all.
Plumbers.
So let me show my screen here.
It's all sorts of kooky little professions. Well, I shouldn't call it kooky. It's a very good profession. I'm just saying it's different. It's not what you might have thought, what most people would have thought.
Are you seeing my screen?
You see, from getting ranking for what were the phrases that they're ranking for, and how much money was that phrase worth to them?
Are you talking to me, Mark? Can you hear me?
Yeah, about the eyelash extensions.
Okay, great. What this is, so what eyelash extensions are, and I didn't know this before I met my wife, but I'll just pull up a picture real quick because she happened to have them in these pictures. So right here, she just kind of makes her eyes a little bit more full, and a lot of girls don't know about them, but they're catching on and becoming more and more popular. So one of her friends does her eyelashes, and she actually wasn't advertising on Google at all. She didn't even have a shop. She was just doing it as a side business, and my wife helped her set up a website on Wix, which is not really, I don't recommend doing it that way, but it got her started, got the ball rolling. And she, just had a couple of clients, that was it. And she was actually a full-time nanny, so she wasn't doing anything. I'll log out of, sign out of Google here. And I'll just show you, in 6 weeks, Greg made her #1 for eyelash extensions, Nashville, and most Nashville combinations of that, Nashville, Tennessee, eyelash extensions, Nashville, and a few of the local cities. If I go into to this website, I'll click in on it, and this is her friend Ashley, and this is her son Tal. And at the time, Ashley was actually a full-time nanny, taking care of somebody else's child, and it was a bit stressful, professionally taking care of somebody else's child while she had to put her own child in daycare. So she wound up, Greg got her site to #1 after about right after about 6 weeks, and really just a few weeks later, she was able to quit her job as a nanny and just be doing lashes full time, because they can be pretty expensive. It's $200 for a girl to get the lashes put on in the first place, and then I think it's either $50 or $100 to get them kind of filled back out, sort of like a recharge or something like that. So I don't know exactly how much the paid traffic would be worth, but I do know that the free traffic is so valuable to her that it allowed her to quit her day job. And it's funny because you're right, Mark. There's just so many. There's just so many niches. Cotton, if Cotton's there, Cotton has a bit of a, it's not exactly a charity case, but it's one of his lesser paying clients who is just a magician, and it's totally changed his life. He pays Cotton, I think, like $500 a month. Cotton, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell the backstory of this magician? I like that story when you told me about it the other day.
Sure. I love to try to help out local businesses, and this is one that kind of came to me, and it was literally kind of under the radar a little bit. Normally the clients I normally have are over $3,000 to the $17,000 range that I have. And he had come to me and wanted to rank for Magician St. Louis, Balloon Twister St. Louis, Children's Birthday Party St. Louis, all these other ones. And I decided that I would take it on. It was him and his brother. I watched a couple of his YouTube videos, and I normally don't take clients for $500, but I decided that I would, and it totally has altered their lives. They went from literally not having any bookings to now they're full for the next 90 days with children's parties being brought into companies to, with balloons to make animals of all sorts. So just the smallest amount of search engine optimization, when you want to know how powerful it is, when people are sitting on page 2 or 3, they're virtually invisible. And when you can take a small business like that and put them up to something as small as even 50 to 100 searches a month, that can literally mean the life or death of that business, because now they have people finding them, because when you pick up your phone, your tablet, or just some mothers in a conversation at a coffee shop saying, hey, I heard that so-and-so had a big birthday party over there. Go, you know what, I want to get a balloon guy over here. I want to get a magician. And they're sitting there talking, and they search from their cell phone and just type in Google magician. And, it comes up number 1. They're going to go, And they might call if they're right on the spot with all their friends there. And then that leads to more business. So something as simple as that can just alter a small business. And that's one of the joys I get out of doing search engine optimization, is able to help these businesses. It's always fantastic to hear about your eyelash story, my magician story, but there's so many others out there. And all these people were waiting for someone like us to just reach out to them and show them that we can help them. And there's a lot of money to be made out there through SEO client consulting.
Great. I'm just going to take the screen back for a moment. Where are we? Okay, now, Mike, in the background, maybe you could get ready some like earnings reports and stuff from your students. I mean, it's quite an incredible community you've put together, and I think some people are going to be quite motivated by seeing this kind of stuff. So I'll let you get that together in the background while I'm just going to talk about this stuff. So anyway, we looked at, so a lot of you guys were on the last webinar, and Mike went through about 50 different students and showed some of their websites and some of the stuff that they're doing, and how a lot of them were doing over 6 figures a year, and some of them over 6 figures per month. It's crazy. And monetizing it in all sorts of fashions, this SEO, whether it be through affiliate products, or even your own opt-in squeeze page and so forth, and following up with affiliate stuff. A lot of people doing well there. Then and Mike included, I know he's got a website in the dating niche for men that he's built up a list of over 90,000 people, and he affiliates to some of my dating products. I've seen him, and he's done very, very well promoting them as an affiliate. And it's all through the power of high Google rankings. You got your own products. your own info products or your own physical products on Amazon, or Kindle books, etc. You got selling SEO services. A lot of people like to opt for that route. That's just tends to be what round about over half the people, anyway, just over half the people from what I heard that's in their membership like to go down that route. I mean, but any one of those routes are good money-getting rankings. And as we mentioned on the last webinar, and the doors to this are closing very shortly because the membership limit's almost reached, and because of the fact that the price is going up by $2,000. But if you really want an unfair advantage in money getting, then join this community. Join me, join Mike, join all, Greg and everybody. Become part of the community. It's unique in that all of their support is done by them. They don't even have customer support staff. They just answer your emails directly. They've got great Facebook groups that you can post questions on and get answers to right away. If I were you, I would join. I'd join right away, and I'd watch the orientation video first. That's going to set a clear context for everything. Join their Facebook groups, and then get the blueprint. They've got this great blueprint, which they update a couple of times a week, so you can print it out and go through it, but they update it all the time. There's a good blueprint in there. And start going through it. The orientation video is really going to set the scene for everything. Now, if you join through omgmachines.com/Mark, I give you something that is a really quite a relevant bonus to this. It's I won't go into too much details other than to say it's Affilorama's Affilo Tools software tools product. It plugs in with Google Analytics, ClickBank, SEMrush, and all sorts of other places in order to give you an unfair advantage, even further unfair advantage in the search engines, both in terms of you're able to easily track your rankings, your competitors' rankings. It's very important, especially if you've got clients, to be able to do this stuff, even if it's just for your own use. But also at the same time, all in one place, be able to track, like the movements of your competition, so you see any dangers before they even come. You get to see different link building opportunities out there within your niche. There's software for that in there, and it normally sells for $67 a month, but you're getting a 1-year membership, so that's normally over $800 for a year, and you're getting that for free if you join omgmachines.com today through the link that you see there. There's 3 different prices for OMG Machines. You can either pay it in a one-time payment. It's $5,000 for a one-time payment, which I just think is like an absolute steal. Like I would literally say that it's worth $20,000 or more, and it's going up to $7,000 very, very shortly, by the way. So I'd get in at the $5,000 if I were you guys. Now there's the $5,000 option, or there's the option of doing it in payments. You can either do it in quarterly payments or monthly payments. But just remember that it's like when you join, you get lifetime membership. So it's not like if you do take the monthly option, it's like buying a refrigerator or any other item. It's not something that you can cancel partway through, so don't take the monthly option unless you're intending to actually stay on and be, it's a payment plan for something you're buying. It's like buying a refrigerator or something else. So if you do take those options, just bear that in mind, So it's omgmachines.com/Mark. Okay, so write that down. If you want to claim that bonus from me, you just email support@affilorama.com. That's support@affilorama.com. I'll type it on the screen, and then I'm going to get Mike to just give some more inspiration with a lot of those success stories. So you email your receipt through to support@affilorama.com for that. If you want to claim that bonus. And make sure you get in before the doors closed and before the $2,000 price increase takes effect. So we're going to be closing this out very, very shortly. It's so yeah, just letting people making sure that people are aware that that this is closing in a very short space of time. So Mike, do you want to take over the screen now and
Sure.
just give us lots and lots of proof that your stuff's working, and not just for gurus, but for lots of real people that
Sure. Yeah.
you know, real
Happy-
moms and
no, happy
pops
to do
like
it.
running some successful business around the world.
Yeah, happy to do it. I thought it through when you're talking, and I want to do something a little bit unusual, which is, it's funny, everybody, if you didn't watch the last webinar, you hadn't met Cotton yet, who jumped on a second ago, and I want to give folks an idea of really what's going on here, the magnitude of this. I made my first $1 million with internet marketing 8 years ago, and I resisted the temptation to put out a coaching program. A lot of people who have some success online do go ahead. So I'll just turn on my webcam here just for a second so I can just kind of see it, look at you face to face, talk to you mano a mano for a second. So hello. I made my first $1 million about 8 years ago, and I resisted putting out a coaching program, even though a lot of people asked me for it. The reason why I was worried that I think oftentimes success online is not duplicatable enough that people can really follow along with it. So I resisted for 6 years. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I was willing to put together this coaching that we're talking about today. And the reason why is because I met a guy named Greg Morrison. You've met Greg extensively today. And Greg started with just an introductory SEO course I took. See, SEO, that's very scalable, especially the way that Greg does it. And after watching Greg make his first $1 million, really innovating and blazing a trail, and more than that, watching Greg pay it forward. That's something that I'd like you to really, really keep that phrase in mind, pay it forward. In fact, I'd like people to type in "pay it forward" into your question box right now. If you like the idea of somebody being successful, who is so successful that they're willing to embrace abundance and take you by the hand and help you take that next step. I mean, tell me if that sounds really attractive to you, the thought of a program where people are not just successful, but they're paying it forward. And if you'd be willing to pay it forward, if you joined our program, if you'd be willing to, as you start having success, pay it forward and help other members. So please type in "pay it forward" if you'd like to do that. And the thing is that Greg really paid it forward. While Greg was making, and Greg, let me ask you this: what was going through your head? As you made that first $1 million, I had a small SEO forum that's ultimately, in essence, turned into our OMG secret Facebook groups at this point. What was going through your head? You answered 2,000 posts in that during that first 9 months that you're making your first $1 million. I mean, I can imagine. It seems like so many other people would just be off spending money, partying, celebrating, but you were paying it forward like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy helping people, I guess. And I mean, there's enough out there for everyone. I've learned from you very early, in your first webinar. You were going through a lot of success stories, and I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, like, teach me something. And you would talk to me later, and you're like, the way we do this, me and David Mills, is because you got to know who you're learning from first. And I thought back, and I was like, you know what? It subconsciously dawned on me that you kind of put that in my head, like, okay, this is working for people, and then it made me really commit to it. So when I started having success, I kept that in mind, and I just knew just sharing my success stories that would help other people kind of stay committed to what they're doing, just so they know it could work. And then, of course, give the tips on how I was doing it and all that stuff. So,
well, and this kind of thing is it's an infectious thing in a good way. And I want to show you somebody who exemplifies that. That's why I asked him to come on this event. live tonight, and that's Cotton Grammar. Instead of me showing you all the people who I've helped have success, Cotton has come inside. He's a success story himself, a real life success story himself, and then Cotton has helped a number of our members have success. To give you an idea, this just came in last night, like right around 24 hours ago. This is from Pete, and Cotton will give you some of the details behind this, but Pete just ramped up to $8,000 per month. We just got this in yesterday. You see him thanking Cotton right here. And, it's a Friends Helping Friends community. Cotton's, not the only one. He got some help definitely from some other individuals. But what I want to do is I want to introduce you to Cotton, and I want to actually let Cotton give you the rundown. And I've got this membership discovery area pulled up. Hopefully I can keep pace with them. I think a lot of the people that Cotton has helped have success, I'll be able to click in on and point you to. Cotton, are you still around?
Yes, I am.
Well, so first of all, could you take people inside your own story, where you're at and where you've gone to, and then I'd love to hear, because you're so big into this idea of paying it forward. I'm preparing something on another screen here, but you're into paying it forward. Would you take people inside of your story, and then I'd also like to talk about some of the other people whose lives you've touched, because you're really into this idea of paying it forward.
Sure. About 9 months ago, I'd been through what everyone else has always been through before. I went from one internet program to another internet program, trying to find success, wanting to make money online, and was really having a hard time doing it. And then I discovered that, hey, if you control the traffic, then you can pretty much get anything sold. I've spent even thousands of dollars on some of the top internet gurus' courses that didn't have any income reports, that just were ridiculous. And I got to OMG, and I started listening to you and then Greg, and I was in a pretty tough spot financially, and literally that day that I signed on has literally changed my life. The community itself is built in such a giving way that any time that you post a question, someone there with an answer. And it's not just someone with an answer. It is a community of the top search engine optimization experts and internet marketers, list builders in the world. We have people from Mike Swanson that just made a couple $100,000 last month just from his list building. There's Greg there. We got Fletch. There's you, Mike. I'm in there. We got people like Gregory Ortiz, that is in there. And it's such a unique place. It's the best investment that I've ever done. And as of year to date, I have I just passed the $700,000 mark in my bank account. From being down to my last few thousand, I have over $700,000 in my bank account right now from OMG. And the community itself is just built amazing, from Greg teaching you everything, to with live office hours, to the full support of the community, to everyone else. I had a little bit of a slow curve in trying to learn everything, because I'm prideful and I wanted to do it all by myself without asking any questions. That it took me about 90 days to make any money, and I got my first client about 90 days in. And when I started seeing all the hardships that I had doing it, I wanted to give back to other people. And I wanted to cut the learning curve or have them not make the same mistakes that I did. Greg and Mike had paved the road for me. I wanted to see if I couldn't accelerate it with some other people that were coming in and just kind of help them along. So I reached out to several people after I started becoming successful after 90 days. After 60 days, I was making about $14,000. Then it jumped up to $142,000 a month. So along the way, I just wanted to help everyone. And Gregory Ortiz is one of the people up here. He's become to be such a great friend. I remember the first couple of days that he signed up, that he was talking about that he was so energetic, and he still is, and that's what I love about him. he's so active in the community that he was just going to pick up his phone and start dialing people and just calling people. He was so excited about it. And Gregory, like me, dug into the program, and he's only been in our program for 90 days now, and as you can see, he's made $13,000. And this is one of the people here. Then there's other people that I've helped from Crystal.
Actually, Cotton.
Mhm.
Sorry, just 1 second, Cotton. Actually, I got a message from Gregory earlier today, and just so everybody knows, this is Gregory's month to date for September of 2014, 13,404. Gregory, are you there? I just made Gregory an organizer. I'm curious if he's here. I think he's on the webinar, but I'm not 100% sure that he has his microphone on or that he's there. All right, I'll try to track him down so he can kind of put the word out. But this is really something. Gregory's actually on the way to his first $20,000 month. So I kind of want to point that out.
Now?
Really, Gregory.
Yes. Hey, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Hey, Gregory.
Microphone off.
So can you kind of, again, a little bit this, we're kind of talking about not just earnings reports, but the viral nature, the pay it forward nature of things. And rather than me showing all the people I've helped, and I have helped a lot of people, we have over 300 earnings reports inside of OMG, people making as much as 5 figures per month or even 6 figures per month. You're somebody who you got inside and you got to benefit from Cotton paying it forward, and now you're paying it forward, but without, just kind of keeping it quick because I want Cotton to be able to share the stories of Angela and Crystal and Pete and some other people. What was it like for you just getting inside? Obviously, we can see you're having incredible success here. Just 15 days into September, $13,404. I think you've actually made a few bucks since then. What was it like for you to be able to benefit from Cotton paying it forward?
Oh, I mean, Cotton has been such a huge mentor to me. To be honest with you, it came like one day out of nowhere. Cotton messaged me just to see how I was doing. I was shocked. I was excited because, I heard so much about him to begin with. And just from that alone, he's a very humble guy. He's very down to earth. He offered me some advice. Now it's at a point where he and I talk pretty much every day back and forth, just kind of, saying, hey, how's it going? Even if we don't have like advice or something we want to talk about in particular, we at least just say, hey, how's it going? And that's how the entire community is. It's like one big family. I mean, it's just like I tell my wife all the time, OMG is my second family. And Cotton has been such a huge mentor with me when it comes to all that and my success overall.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing. You're actually just getting ready to quit your day job. And one of the things that you do nowadays is we have a beginners OMG group because now you're paying it forward. And we have a beginners top secret OMG group, beginners acceleration and support group. And every Sunday for the last several Sundays, you've been in there paying it forward, just answering people's questions, something that we now call Sunday Fun Day that's becoming part of OMG. And these are text threads inside of our secret Facebook group for beginners, acceleration, and support. And you're in there answering people's questions. You're paying it forward. So I want to thank you for that. I'm going to get back to Cotton, but really, thanks for coming live and sharing your success, Gregory.
Of course, thank you. I just want to be able to share how wonderful it's been for me, and hopefully other people will see how great it could be for them as well.
Great.
Hey, Mike, I'm just going to do a little challenge for you. Do you think that you could show maybe,
You got it.
say, I don't know, let's say in the space of about less than 5 minutes, do you think you could maybe go through somewhere, let's just see how many earnings reports you could show in less than 5 minutes. Like, can you show 10? Maybe you could get through 20. You've got loads of them.
Maybe. Okay.
See how many you can get through.
Sure, you got it.
I just want to show people just how powerful this stuff is. There's a big overview. Obviously, you've gone into detail with some of these guys, but it'd be kind of nice just to like rapid fire. Let's just look and look and look and see.
All right.
Lots
you
of different.
can start the clock now because I'm
starting now. Okay, 5 minutes.
Now, to be fair, my computer's loading pretty slow. We have a lot of people on the event, and things aren't firing very quickly. And I'm going to try to go through these just in case this browser crashes. So I'll go through just a handful here, and then I'll close these windows, and we'll see where it takes us. We're probably about 30 seconds in here. So this is Scott Schaff. Scott went from making zero about last November. He and I actually met up last November very briefly, and he was living in a bunker in Afghanistan, and he was making zero online. He now makes $20,000 per month online. He stays at home with his family, and it's way better than Afghanistan. This is Fletch, who a lot of you guys met on the last event. Fletch went from digging around in air conditioners in the hot Phoenix heat to making his first $10,000 in his first 45 days. He's a fast starter, and he's made over $300,000 year to date this year. This is Jimmy Kelly. Jimmy's one of those guys like Cotton, one of those guys like Greg, where he has just had unbelievable success. So this is what it looks like. That's what 6 figures a month looks like, coming from a website, and even more from client consulting. Jimmy's a huge part of our community. This is Brad Mabry. Brad does it a lot with Amazon and with e-commerce stuff. $50,000 in his first 60 days with us. That's pretty fast. Not everybody does that. This is Abby, $18,000 I think in August, and I don't know. Abby's just awesome. She's from North Carolina. Her first client was a small church that she goes to. This is Dave Keys. Dave rocketed ahead when he joined us. He was another real fast starter. He went straight to thousands of dollars a month within the first few weeks with us. Again, that's a little bit unusual, but that's sometimes what happens. This is El Sayed from Egypt. This is the first big earnings report I got from him for $47,500. He does affiliate marketing, something that we call launch jacking. My last earnings report from him, I think, was $87,000 for 1 month. El Sayed, congratulations. This is Eleanor Scott, and Eleanor, there's a video with her first $10,000. I'm sorry, 10,000 euros per month. I guess euros are more than dollars. She does a lot of client consulting. Let's try to go through a few more here. This is so we got Carlos, Jay, Chris Marshall in the UK.
And just to let you guys know that Mike's got over 300 of these earnings reports in his members area. You know, this is just a sampling.
Yeah, one of the cool things about these earnings reports, one of the reason why I know them so intimately is that they help us kind of zero in on people's success and understand where the money's being made right now. So really, for example, with client consulting, one of the things that Cotton does is he gives us so many different techniques for people to understand how the money is made. Oops.
You joined us for our No Old Farm coaching program.
Oh, this is Hung.
And in the last 6 months, you went from literally treading water, you told me you're eating ramen noodles in here, to last month, $160,000. Is that correct? That's 42 clients.
So I don't know how well you heard, but that was Hung Lee, 42 clients, $160,000 gross last month. He doesn't make quite the same profit margins that Cotton makes, but he's still over $100,000 per month in profits. This is Jason Boyd. Jason's a very heartfelt story. He was a cop, quit his day job because there was a kind of a terrible case he was involved with where it just made him realize that life was too short to be a cop, and he's made as much as $50,000 in a single month. Jason's a real inspiration. Most of these individuals, almost everyone here has paid it forward to somebody else. So I really want to point that out. This is Jay, 6 figures. I don't know. He does a mixture of client consulting and client consulting and affiliate marketing at a $50,000 affiliate site. This is Carlos. Carlos was from the Dominican Republic, really had a dream of bringing his family to America. He now is making 6 figures per year. This is Kurt from Clearwater, Florida. Kurt just hit the $20,000 per month mark. And he does it actually by recovering websites that have broken down and stopped working and stopped being in Google. That's one of the things that we teach is website recovery. This is Wilson from Malaysia. He also does affiliate marketing. This says $20,000 in 2 weeks. He's actually up to around $1,000 a day. Are we out of 5 minutes yet? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've got more. This is
that's enough for that stuff. Now, I'm just going to go back to
Angela and Armando are good ones, by the way. Actually, these three in a row are all people. Angela, $47,000 in a month. Armando, $36,000 in a month. Crystal just added $36,000 in the last month in her earnings reports, and all three of them were credit Cotton with helping them, very much helping them and inspiring them to get over the top. Just wanted to point that out. There's a real pay it forward attitude here.
All right. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to quickly chat about. Okay, so obviously, you know, these guys, this underground community is obviously pretty fantastic. Now, some people say to me, hey, look, you know, like there are products out there that sell for $47 or $97 that teach you how to make money online. Now, the thing about those products is, for one, a lot of them are poor quality and do not have any of these sort of earnings reports. I'll say that for one. Secondly, even when they're good, the support for a low ticket product, because there are thousands of customers at a low ticket price, the support has to include the majority coming from paid support staff. Whereas some people tell me, you know what, like I'm really looking for a coach. I'm really looking for someone that, you know, or a community that I can actually get hold of people that are actually making great money. Okay, there are lots of communities out there where there are people that are struggling. I mean, a lot of people go on the Warrior Forum, and unfortunately it can be a lot worse rather than better for you to be there, because everyone you're surrounding yourself with is not doing very well. That can be very detrimental to your success. It can happen a lot. So what Mike, Greg, and all these guys have put together is a not just great training. There is fantastic training in there. Don't get me wrong. But I believe, you know, if it was just training and they weren't offering support, then this would probably be, you know, the product may be half the price. But the fact is, this is not just training. It's a lot more than that. What it is it's a community. There's live office hours. There is, you know, live webinars and so forth. There's Facebook groups. You get to know people that are doing extremely well. Most people they earn the equivalent of what their 5 biggest influencers earn. And that's usually your 5 best friends or 5 family members or whatever. You become part of this community and you start to get to know people that are earning 6 figures a month. You know, it's not just that you're learning from the right people, but your whole mindset changes. There's a big mindset shift being part of a community like this. You know, I highly recommend, I know that any one of you guys that joins, as long as you put the work in, as long as you just put the work in and actually join the Facebook groups and actually post your questions and so forth, you will make a heck of a lot of money back. You'll become another one of those success stories that this community is part of. Now, you know, another thing that I really like about this product, and it is one of the reasons why the price tag is higher than some other products that you see out there, is because these guys, they're hugely successful. They're making over $1 million a year each. That's nothing to do with this membership and they're selling their training. I mean, if they did not sell their training, they're still making over $1 million a year each. So it has to become at least somewhat worthwhile for them to be able to be available to train people. So they don't want to have too many members, because if there's too many members, it becomes very hard for them to zero in on anybody's website. So the nature of having less members means that the price is higher, because they're able to offer support all by themselves. They pride themselves on not actually hiring a single support staff member. They do all the support themselves. You know, you'll get your questions answered by these guys. It's you know, it's unheard of. I haven't heard of it. I don't even answer all my support. You You know, it's a really it's a difficult thing to do, and that's why they've got very limited membership numbers. Okay, so the doors are closing very shortly. The doors are closed most of the year, and occasionally they open up. But next time they open up, it's going to be $2,000 more. They've decided that the price is going to be $7,000, but for now it's $5,000 for you guys if you get in on this particular intake. Yeah, I mean, like for coaching from several different internet millionaires, people you can get to know, and you know, and the fact that you're always up to date and up with the play. If you do want to sell services or even simply make all your money from affiliate marketing or whatever, just knowing that it's lifetime membership. So you're able to just, you know, if there's an update to Google or something, you know that you're in the right place, the best place in the world to be, to you know, to adapt quickly. Then, you know, it's well worth it for a large number of reasons. So anyway, what I want to do is just open up the Q&A box for anyone that's got any questions for Mike, Greg, or anybody else. I'm really interested.
The question that just came in from Jonathan is, can someone clarify if this is mainly just for local terms, et cetera? It's Cotton mentioned Mike Swanson made a couple $100,000 on ClickBank and sales of his own product, and that was without affiliates. That was just through the stuff that's, you know, trained inside of our for all different kinds. And people want to know if it works for beginners. Most of our 5-figure per month and 6-figure per month earners are beginners. Cotton was a beginner, no tech expertise. Greg Ortiz, who you just heard from a minute ago, was a beginner, no tech expertise. Actually, that's one of the great things about Greg is when Greg started, and that's one of the reasons why Greg's such a great coach is, you know, just a few years back, Greg was an absolute beginner when he got started with me, no tech expertise, and obviously he's now, you know, 6-figure per month guy. So that's, yeah, and guy wants to know newbies, i.e. does someone need extra training outside the site? No, you don't need any extra training. It's a one-stop shop. We're absolutely wonderful with beginners. We have a wonderful mixture of beginners and top guns. One of the big reasons for that is so many of our top guns started as beginners, and so they remember it so recently, so freshly. And again, we have that real focus, that real pay-it-forward attitude, and that just makes a huge difference.
Cool. Now, I'm not sure where you're at with regards to your membership limit. I know that we were getting pretty close to that already, so that's just something to bear in mind. But either way, whether the limit is reached or not, this particular special is closing out early in the week, around Monday. But it may close before then if it sells out, of course. But just so that people I just thought I'd just let people know so that they're aware. I mean, it is a limited community, and the reason for that is just simply they're doing all their support themselves. All right, so they rather just work with people who are, they'd rather work with less people, but go deeper and further with each of you. So that's the difference, I think, you know, between this and some other programs out there. You know, just the fact that the support is coming from them. It's a great community, and it's not just these guys as well. There are hundreds of other people that have already posted their earnings reports and so forth that are as part of this community. You know, there's nothing else out there like it. It's a really big unfair advantage for money getting. If you to compare it to buying a franchise or something like that out there, you know, you could spend $1 million and buy a McDonald's franchise and earn less money than people that have joined this are making, and in less time. And it'll take you a lot longer to get into profit because it takes a while to pay back those franchise fees, you know, in terms of if you were to buy a McDonald's or something. This is, you know, unheard of, and it's unreal. I know that people are going to do extremely well if anyone does join, or for everybody that does join. Eric says, does anyone in your membership do website flipping? And if so, what's the best types to design, and how do you deal with ClickBank products if you flip the sites?
Well, if it was a ClickBank product, you transfer, you know, the person would purchase it and it'd be up to them to transfer their links. Yeah, we have a lot of people selling sites. You know, whenever you're like basically doing client consulting or local, you're essentially doing SEO for other people. That's something that Cotton does. You know, Cotton ranks sites for other people a lot. Greg actually has sold well over $1 million worth of websites where he made the site and then passed it on to somebody else in exchange for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, or, you know, whatever the price was. Just kind of turn and burn.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, do you have any questions, by the way, about any of the stuff that was covered during the webinar, the stuff that was covered earlier on how to dominate Google and stuff like that? I mean, did you enjoy those of you that were there during the first hour, did you really enjoy that? I'd just like to get some feedback, and what do you guys think of Mike's community? I know several people have joined already and you know, going to be doing extremely well. We're going to see you guys on the Facebook group and so forth very shortly, I know. Yeah, I'm just interested in feedback. It's a different type of webinar that I did today, you know, where, let's have a look. I've got Sue saying it was amazing. Got people asking already other questions, which is cool. If you've got other questions, that's great. Yeah, so you guys got any feedback about that first hour and so forth? People saying,
yeah. Would you like me to walk people through the offer, or do you feel like that's been done sufficiently?
Yeah, in a moment. Yeah, no, a lot of people are saying that was inspirational and so forth. Yeah, no, that'd be really good actually. Like some people are probably, by the looks of it, are just wanting to get I mean, we've explained what's in the offer, but we haven't really what's in your membership. But some people are wanting a bit more details and so forth as well. So that'll be interesting.
Sure, I can do that. Okay, when you join us, you get 4 things plus Mark's bonus. You get lifetime access to your members area and Blueprint, plus updates to that members area and Blueprint. You get, and the members area is just nuts, and the Blueprint's just nuts. It, you know, step-by-step detailed instructions over our shoulder. We're very transparent. We show our sites that are actually making money. I think that's a big part of why people are successful. And it's just very well designed. There's a lot of life to it, and there's constant updates. It's quite great. Secondly, you get lifetime access to our secret Facebook groups. These groups are unlike any other groups on the internet, certainly unlike any other groups in the quote-unquote internet marketing world. They're very positive. They're very smart groups. We have a membership that's very informed. Our rules are very smartly designed to really help people be successful. We stay positive, but they're very high energy. There's a lot of information. You ask your questions. You typically get answers very quickly. You're often getting answered by somebody who's making 5 figures per month or even 6 figures per month. There's dozens of people making 5 and 6 figures per month constantly involved in the groups. We have one main group, and then we have a beginner support and acceleration group, an Amazon group, and a list building group. Amazon plus Google, eBay plus Google, all that kind of stuff. So that's quite great. 3, you get coaching office hours through 2014. These are with Greg, with one of our members, Fletch, who's making around $45,000 a month, and with me personally. Next coaching office hours are Sunday. I have an acceleration webinar on Sunday, and it's going to be nuts. You definitely want to be on. We're also in extra access office hours, so you actually wind up paying a little bit extra past 2014. And then you get our software, news updates, and templates. You get lifetime access to those as well. And then, of course, you get Mark's terrific bonus.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, by the sounds of it, can see a lot of great value in this. I mean, to spend $5,000, and it's not one-time payment of $5,000 too. It's like you've got 3 options there. You've got the option of 4 payments of $1,289, or the 12 monthly payments of $439. So it's 12 monthly payments of $439 for the lifetime access. A lot of people can see the value by the sounds of it, and by the sounds of all the questions people are asking in the Q&A box. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to spend $5,000 and yet you're going to be making over $100,000 a year or more, some people are doing over $100,000 a month, then that's that's a no-brainer, and it's a no-brainer for a lot of you guys, for a lot of you guys out there. It's and I think over the course of the last couple of webinars, I think the main thing that a lot of people sort of worry about is whether or not it's going to work for them, and by showing, dozens and dozens and dozens of proof screenshots, by teaching valuable information that works over the last couple of webinars, I think that you've more than proven the capabilities of this particular program, and just the fact that you don't hide. You're more than willing to answer questions yourself. You've got your own Facebook group so people can just post and get things answered quickly. You run your own live webinars and so forth. I think it's fantastic, and it's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing, and it's great that you've got your pay it forward mentality as well, so that your students are becoming your teachers as well. It's a really interesting phenomenon. I think that's it's great. One question that I notice a couple of people have said is how quick does it take generally for someone to make back the money, when they join?
It's a great question. So we don't like to put stopwatches on people because people go at different paces. You heard from Cotton. If I had been yelling at Cotton for not making his first $10,000 in his first 45 days, then that wouldn't have been very nice for him. And obviously, he's ultimately had a great deal of success. So he didn't make anything in his first 90 days. But then again, last month he made $145,000, or $143,000. So that's pretty great. Some people, get started rocket shot fast. You met Fletch on the last event, made his first $10,000 in his first 45 days. Dave Keys, who I just pulled up, made his first $20,000 in his first 30 days. Obviously, Gregor Ortiz was extremely fast. He's into it. 3 or 4 months, and he's at $13,000 for the first 15 days of the month. Maybe a little bit more since then. So it really just varies. I'll tell you something that Cotton likes to tell people. I like to hear it, which is that everyone's working from the same playbook here. Regardless of where you are in the world, whether it's Egypt or Malaysia or Alabama, we all are working from the same playbook. We have the same community, and what you do with it is up to you. But it's all there for you. We have people from all walks of life. Spring Chickens, Pete, who we just talked about, Pete Kichi, he's in his 50s, and he, felt like maybe he couldn't do it, and then, now $8,000 a month. So, he's a little bit on the older side. We had Daryl Ferguson just a couple weeks ago turning in earnings report. Daryl's in his 60s. He made $45,000 last month. So it's it's a wide array. Sometimes guys are young. We have some guys that are not even 20 yet that are earning 5 figures per month. So that's great too. Different places all over the world. Most of our successful members started with zero tech expertise and zero experience making money. So keep that in mind.
Basically, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but some people do get rich quick. But it's not. Sure. That's not what it is. It's you're buying into a business model. It's a lifestyle. It's a community, and it's a way of safeguarding yourself against. It's a way of giving yourself an unfair advantage and safeguarding yourself against, Google changes and all the works. It's incredible. It's a community. It's a way of surrounding yourself with other successful people. I encourage a lot of you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys are, by the sounds of it, and from what happened on the last webinar, a lot of you guys are obviously keen to join or are joining, and it'd be great seeing you guys in the members area. It's just an absolutely fantastic community to be a part of, and I couldn't recommend it any more highly. And I hope that you guys get in before the price rise. It's going to be fantastic. All right. I just want to say a big thanks, Mike, Greg, Cotton, everyone else for being on this webinar, for being here to answer questions and for sharing the information. Greg for going into detail about how to buy those, how to buy domains for a private blog network. Obviously, for those of you that want to learn the full details on setting up a private blog network and how to use it and so forth, that's all taught inside OMG Machines. All of the stuff is taught in detail. And there's a lot more in there. So I want to say a big thank you to you guys. Guys, type in the Q&A box a big thank you to these guys, if you've enjoyed learning from them. And also I hope that you guys enjoyed, what I had to share in the first hour, which was all based on stuff that I'd learnt from these guys. By the way, I just wanted to give a more step-by-step sort of blueprint that you could just go away with at the end of this webinar. In the last one we looked at what was possible and loads of income reports and so forth, loads of proof, and we reverse analyzed what they'd done to get there. And then today we had more on the training side. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And there's a lot of people saying thank you guys. Mark, John, Ian, Sue, Mary, Joel, Jose, Christina, Johnny, Joseph, Carlos, Simon. There's just loads more people, Gregory and so forth. So I want to say a big thank you everybody for sticking around on this webinar. We've still got hundreds of people still on the webinar, which is awesome. Take action with what you learn. That's the big thing. And I encourage you guys to join this membership. You won't regret it as long as you're an action taker and you actually do what you're taught. That's the key. You're willing to roll your sleeves up and get stuck in, then this is the place to be. All right, guys, thanks for being on the webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you take action with what you learned, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.